Hello, everyone. It is Tuesday, which means it is time for me, Rosa Linda Román, to read another chapter of Losing Sight of the Shore, my book, How to Live on a Boat Without Killing Your Family. And that's a picture of my kids and my dog when we lived on the sailing catamaran, the Dawn Treader. It's funny, you can see the reflection of my Mickey lamp. I'll show it to you. It's like look at how cute. Anyway, you guys know I love Mickey Mouse and Disney and all things. Okay, so this time every week, I read a chapter of my book just because it's fun. It's fun for me. I've had some very positive feedback from friends and family saying that it's fun for them. And I'm also using the audio of this, repurposing it to share with my Substack, which is where I do some of my article writing and just general writing. And so if you want to learn about that, just go to the show notes on the platform that you're watching this on. So if you're in Facebook, you'll look in the little notes section and it'll have the link to Substack or a link to buy a copy of the book if you want. All right, so this week I'm going to be reading chapter 7. And I also wanted to mention, in case you're new here, that you can add a comment in the platform that you're in, whether it's YouTube or Twitter, X, or Facebook. You can put a comment and I will see that here in the studio, and I can pop that into where you see it says my name here. I can actually put comments up there. So if you want to send me a little love, I'd appreciate it. But without further ado, here we go. Losing Sight of the Shore. Let's do that again. Losing Sight of the Shore, Chapter 7, Kid Boats. Losing Sight of the Shore, Chapter 7, Kid Boats. The first word of resistance that people usually express when considering our live-aboard boat schooling lifestyle is socialization. Although I never would have admitted this to my loved ones who were already worried enough about this issue when we moved onto the Dawn Treader, the reality is that this is a valid concern. Taking kids out of a brick-and-mortar school just as they are learning to navigate socially in this world can take away some of the very experiences that help them grow. That said, at least from my perspective, these growth-inducing experiences in a traditional school setting can be overwhelmingly negative. Bullies, social media, mean girls, awkwardly changing bodies as peers and pressures move faster than their tender little hearts are ready for, just to name a few. Challenges faced on the water tend to be of the more positive variety. A boat will help you test what you are made of and force you to explore your own potential in ways you never thought possible, which I think is a very good thing when you're figuring out who you are in this world. Instead of growing a thick skin because of some middle school public humiliation catastrophe, you grow stronger arms by pulling lines and swimming against a current. Instead of learning about a coral reef from your favorite book in the library, you actually get to snorkel over one and see the brilliant colors with your own eyes. When it comes to learning, I believe nothing compares with doing, which is why I do think living on a boat is worth what you may be giving up on land. Still, kids need kids. When your home is mobile, whether on land or on the water, building lasting friendships can be a bit more challenging. While there is a growing movement for kids to leave the traditional school model behind to travel with their families, the sailing community is still largely kid-free. There are wonderful online groups to help boat kids connect. My favorite is the Facebook group Kids for Sail. But nothing, and that's SAIL, but nothing replaces face-to-face interactions with other kids. Your child may find a friend at an anchorage, but there's no guarantee they will be sailing in the same direction next week or even tomorrow. Plus, not every boat family is a good fit for your boat family. The kids might like each other, but the parents don't connect. The mom might be so excited by the friendship she just made on the neighboring boat, only to discover that the kids have nothing in common. And don't get me started on how hard it is to find a husband my husband will actually tolerate. Just as it would be on land, it can be hard to find another family that you all really like. Gratefully, this was only true for us when we were not in a location that sparked joy for our family. like when we spent 7 months at a time at the same kid-free marina in Florida as we prepped the boat, for example. When we were actually out on the water island hopping, we found friendships came easily for all of us, and there were always wonderful families we connected with right away. Perhaps these easy friendships came about because we were all desperate for companionship, or even just the basic communication between humans, as there were many stretches between finding anyone to chat with. Or maybe it was because we had immersed ourselves in a community full of others who were also living their dreams, so we had more in common to talk about, more to connect with. Then again, it could have simply been the fact that we were in environments which fostered connections, and so we had time to give people more of a chance. Instead of running from our house to our car, to our schools, to our extracurricular activities, we often found ourselves in shared spaces, chatting about the challenges of our chosen lifestyle. While waiting out a blow in a protected harbor, all the kid boats might suddenly converge on the beach during a temporary lull in the weather in a collective effort to stave off cabin fever. Or families may find themselves together for hours waiting to use that one working dryer at the island's only laundromat. These are chances to connect that you just don't pass up when you live on a boat. Plus, once you do make friends, it seems there are more chances for spontaneous get-togethers than we found in our landlocked, overscheduled lives. There are beach bonfires and chat and chills. There are more pickup beach volleyball games. There are more common complaints about marine toilets or the weather to bond over. More reasons to overlook anything about that other boater which may be off-putting, knowing this is the only other boat you have seen in 3 days. There are many ways it may be easier to connect with other cruisers than there might be with people whose only thing in common is that they happen to live in the same neighborhood. For us adults, sharing common challenges and complaints out on the water was part of what made friendships come more easily than on land. For the kids, however, the simple fact that they were kids led to fast friendships, no matter the age or number of things they had in common. We learned quickly that for boat kids, the liveaboard life is always all about finding other boat kids. Yes, they want to explore the cool islands you're visiting, but they are more interested if you throw a few other kids into the mix. This was true for my daughters when they were 2 and 4 living on Hakuna Matata, and years later for my 3 kids when they were 5, 9, and 11 living on the Dawn Treader. Whenever there were any other kids in our anchorage, the kids just knew. And within a very short time, the children would be having a play date on our boat or theirs. As long as there are other kids nearby, life with your own kids is pretty good on a boat. The problem is that there were many times that there just weren't any other kids for miles around. This was the case at a marina in Riviera Beach, Florida, near the Lake Worth Inlet. It was a working marina that we brought Hakuna Matata to for all of her repairs and prep work before we crossed to the Bahamas for the first time. Not exactly a mecca for kid boats. By the time we arrived to Green Turtle Key, where the most delightful little girl greeted us joyfully, it had been 6 weeks since the kids had seen anyone even close to their age. The minute they saw her, even before we checked into customs, they begged to get off the boat and go play. And by play, I mean really play, in delightful, creative ways. Over the years, I have come to believe that playing on a boat or on an island or on a ranch is so much better than the kind of playing I have seen most kids doing in traditional neighborhoods these days. Bye, cracky. Unlike every social gathering I have witnessed with young people around town lately, which always revolves around one screen or another, I love how low-tech and imaginative kid boats tend to be. I would even go so far as to say the way they play seems closer to the way we played when we were growing up. They make up scenarios and act them out as they run around the island or the boat. Superheroes, lava monsters, villains, and heroes. They swim, kayak, or paddleboard. They use their bodies every day. Generally, there is no Fortnite, Netflix, Disney Plus, Instagram, or TikTok to consume their waking hours. Yes, there are times when they will gather in the salon with their iPads and create a world in Minecraft together, or put on a DVD on one boat or another. But without constant connectivity, those tech-centric moments are the exception, not the rule. Mostly they are outside exploring the world around them. A big part of why I find this kind of engagement so lovely to witness is that they aren't moving in fast crowds that push them to act grown up before their time, either online or in person. At the same time, they are learning some very grown-up things, like mechanical systems, how to raise and lower the sails, plumbing, electrical work, tides, currents, weather patterns, environmental responsibility, and so much more. All of this learning isn't forced by us, but instead gained naturally through their own curiosity and the demands of the environment. Instead of asking them to write an essay about changing the oil in the generator, we ask them to climb into that small compartment where our adult hands can't reach and pull out the dipstick themselves. They learn not only how to work a water maker, but how to join their daddy to install it in the first place in a way that doesn't jeopardize the integrity of the hull. That's physics, mechanics, fluid dynamics, state management, relationship building, and problem solving all rolled into one. Living on a boat, the world is their classroom, and we are partners in learning. Once I embraced this approach, it proved to be more joyful and effective for our family than the traditional textbook-centric, teacher-led method. This creative education was reflected in the way they played and how they interacted with other boat kids and their grown-ups. In general, I have found most boat kids are a joy to be around, and I am grateful that my own kids had the chance to join this exceptional group. So there you go. That is Losing Sight of the Shore, Chapter 7, Kid Boats. And it just brings back so many memories of living on the boat with the kids. After I wrote this book, we actually ended up later buying back the same boat and sailed during COVID times. And we created what we called a COVID-free fleet of kid boats. And by then the girls were teenagers and we had a lot of teenagers in the group. And so the kids would go snorkeling and spearfishing and be gone for hours and hours. And, they had VHF radios to call in if there was a situation. But it was just a really special time. And I hope to do it again. I know we're in discussions. I'm not going to say anything more than that, but I definitely leave the possibility open. All right, I guess there's no questions, no comments for now, but you're welcome. Please feel free to write them in the replay. If you're watching this on the replay, I'd love to see what you think about these chapters. And if you don't have time to watch these videos, you can go to Substack. The link is in the show notes, and I share the audio of these recordings. So you could just listen one after the other and listen to the whole book. So there you go. It'll be like an audiobook, but personalized. All right. I hope you are all doing well. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, and especially you, Howard. Howard and Olivia and of course, Nathan are like my three favorites that are here week after week. Thank you so much. I actually met Howard on one of those tropical islands I just talked about. So thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. And now I'm going to go lose sight of the shore, or at least end this recording. Bye.